So, here we are. Mental, menopausal, magnificent me and...
the not so mental, menopausal, magnificent mate.
And it is a glorious Sunday morning. It's only the 2nd of March. The weather is fabulous, so we have taken ourselves down to the river in... Are we still in Ely?
We're just outside Ely, a place called Upware near Wicken.
For our first paddle of the year.
Woohoo!
Amazing that it's only March and we're going to be out on the river in 10 minutes. And when we were just coming over in the car, we were just thinking about our favourite summer paddleboarding and the weather that we had. And it was the summer after I'd had my burnout. No, it was that summer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I had the burnout in the March.
Yeah.
And it was that summer where we had fantastic weather and you were at mine for a week and we just took the boards out every single day.
Yeah.
And we just lived on that water, didn't we?
We did.
And life seemed to have some sort of normality to me for a while. I don't know, what was it like for you?
Well, it was extraordinary because I think I hadn't dared for a few months. I hadn't dared to think that we would ever be doing that again.
Yeah.
Because I had lost you. You were gone. You were somebody very different, and just the joy that I felt knowing that we could do that, and that week just getting out and doing it again, it just felt, I don't know, it was the most special week because it had come after such a horrific few months, and just to live on the water, in the water. I mean, we swam in our pants.
Did we?
Yeah,
Oh,
we did.
Well, that's typical with me. It's lucky I had pants on because normally pants are excessive.
We hadn't planned on swimming in our pants. We just were out on the paddleboards and it was so glorious. We just needed to get in the water. And Claire, Mrs. Spontaneous and Mrs. Just go ahead and do shit because you can, because it's fun. She was like, right, that's it, stripping off, we're going in. And I still have a little bit of post-traumatic stress syndrome from I'm very aware that I got out of the water first and you almost had to kind of give me and I just think, you poor thing, after all that trauma, you then had the horror of having to shove my arse in my pants out of the water back onto my paddleboard.
I think I've erased that. I don't remember that at all. So
I'm really sorry.
Been erased.
Sorry, I brought it up again. Horrible, and that's when you know you're in a true friendship. But I thought, do you know what? It was me. It was a bit of revenge because of how how awful it had been, and it was just like, yeah, with all this trauma, and I'm going to get my own back by shoving my panted arse into your face. So yeah,
Thanks.
Sorry about that.
Thanks for that memory.
No, it's a pleasure.
I mean, the rest of the summer, the rest of that week, I really enjoyed. But I've obviously blotted that tiny bit of it out. But I just remember we went to Eckington.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the other place. Strensham Locks. We went to the pub by the river. Every day we just went to the river.
Yep.
And we just did we had lunch somewhere different. We had a picnic. We had barbecues. We sat on the riverbanks. We sat in the pubs after. We swam in the river. We joined in with everyone else that was around. We saw dead sheep in the river.
We did. Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
They just fell in off the bank, didn't they? The little lambs. It was awful.
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. This is inappropriate.
That wasn't nice.
No.
But we're so lucky in Worcestershire to have that amount of green space and the access to the river. And just to be able to drive for half an hour and to just spend your whole day there.
Oh,
and
it was glorious.
And we sunbathed on them, we did yoga on them, we did everything. Was just on a board for that week, wasn't it?
And it was like the perfect week. And then we'd go back to yours and you had that lovely outside space, and it would be the barbecue would go on, or we'd just sit out, and it was such a beautiful summer. And it was warm enough to sit outside, and we'd come back, we'd shower, get the river water off, and then it would be PJs in the garden, and cups of tea and just the music on, and it was idyllic. It was the perfect week.
But
yeah, it was underlined with fear and worry and uncertainty and still not really knowing what had happened and what potentially was going to happen. But I think we made the most of it, and we tried to be in the moment, and I think we did really well at that.
I think it was trying to get some normality
Yeah.
back. This is what we do, and this is who we are.
Yeah.
And can we still do this stuff together? And we did, but it wasn't 100% me.
No.
I wasn't my true self, was I? I was still quite distant. I remember that. I wasn't 100%. I don't know another way of putting it, really.
I think that week I saw more of you.
Yeah.
I think it was only a couple of weeks later we went and did the festival, and there was more of a withdrawal and more of a distance with you, and I think it was probably when we'd been together on the river and it was just the two of us, and we were totally in control. Honestly, what are these noisy boats all about? It's all right, we'll be all right.
Can you see it? I love that you stop talking when I'm
Noisy
moving the camera.
buggers. But yeah, so I think when it was just the two of us, I don't know how you felt the week that we were just paddleboarding and living in that sunshine compared to how you then felt when we went to the festival with thousands of people and crowds, and how did that differ?
I suppose that festival to an extent is a safe place for me because I've done it for so many years.
Yeah.
So I know what to expect, and I know how it's laid out, and I know where we're going to be camping, and I know all of those things. So there's a security and a safety net there for me. And if I'm with safe people, then the crowds don't bother me.
Yeah.
But I knew that I wasn't as I've been before at the festival.
Yeah.
I knew I was quieter and more reserved, and I wasn't doing the dancing on the tables or the getting dressed up and really wholeheartedly joining in. I was there, I was present, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you. But it wasn't, So we had a great time, but it wasn't.
It was different.
An amazing time like we would normally have, if you see what I mean. It was tempered slightly, wasn't it?
And I think that's, definitely. I mean, normally, we've spoken about it before, about you being very much in charge, and I just happily go along with anything. But I think that festival weekend, I felt like I needed to step up and just be the one a little bit more in charge and taking a bit more sort of responsibility for what we were going to do and making decisions. Because actually, I'm very good at letting other people make decisions.
No, you don't get a choice with me, do you? Because I make all the decisions.
So it's just as well I'm very good at it. But actually I needed to, because just making decisions was actually too difficult, because your energy was going into just existing and being. But it was a glorious month. It was that August, and following on from all the trauma that you'd gone through and we'd all been involved with for that time, just to have you back in that a different version of you, a slightly it was an altered version of you, but it
slightly
felt
dimmer version.
But it felt like more of you had come back at that point than we'd certainly seen for a good few months. And I think from my perspective, I was just holding on to every bit of that, every bit of you that felt Claire as possible. But because we never knew at that point, we never knew how long that was going to last.
No, and there was no patterns of behaviour at that time, was there?
No.
But things weren't getting as better as quickly as we'd hoped at that time. I think that's probably all we can say, isn't it? That
I think that's there's more to talk about in another episode. But I think it's just lovely today to sit here and reminisce on that week of paddleboarding, and the fact that we're here doing it again this morning.
And we're not going to get wet, and we're not going to fall in, and I am not swimming in my pants in March. As beautiful as the day it is, I'm just putting it out there. It's about the pub lunch after today. It's not about stripping off and getting in the river.
Oh, well, I wish I hadn't put my best pants on now.
Anyway, enjoy this glorious, glorious Sunday, whatever you are doing.
Happy March, everyone.
Cheers.